All right, here's my audience.
Hello.
It's like 3 people, but. All right, so hi everyone. My name is Nathaniel Bowman, and today I'm going to be talking about why marijuana should be legalized. So marijuana, it's kind of a big deal. Did you guys know that in Colorado there are more dispensaries than there are Starbucks, McDonald's, and 7-Elevens combined? And that was in an article by Anna Wilcox. When I read that, I was pretty blown away, and I thought that that was a huge deal, and it kind of gave me the reason that I chose this topic, which was that the marijuana industry is really growing really quickly, and I think that it's a great thing for states to take advantage of while it's growing so quickly. So the 3 reasons that I'm going to cover of why marijuana should be legalized are that 1, marijuana is less harmful than some drugs that are legal now. Number 2, marijuana tax can be really beneficial to states that legalize it, and finally, teen pot use in legalized states has actually decreased since it's been legal. So getting into my first point, legal drugs versus marijuana. I was researching and I found an article on drugwarfacts.org, and one thing that it talked about was the annual deaths of these 3 drugs per year. And I found that 480,000 deaths happen each year due to tobacco. That's just usually problems with the lungs, like lung cancer. And then 88,000 deaths happen annually because of alcohol. About half those deaths are due to a direct overdose, and the other half are long-term things like problems with the liver. And then I found that there's actually 0 annual deaths from marijuana each year. It's kind of a hard thing to judge, but that's just based off of just smoking marijuana and no other influences like getting behind the wheel, and that's with all those numbers. That brings up one counter argument to my idea, though, is that it's kind of been hard to really study marijuana so far because it's new and long-term research is kind of hard to do right now. And people really think that marijuana can have a heavier effect on one's mental health than what we know now. And people also think that someone who smokes marijuana, their IQ could decrease. But just based off of pure harm to a human, I definitely think that tobacco and alcohol are worse than marijuana. So I think marijuana deserves to be legal if they both are. So getting into my second point, I'm going to talk about how states can create a lot of income from tax from marijuana. And one thing I wanted to mention before I got into that was that people are going to smoke marijuana whether it's legal or not. So people in states where marijuana is illegal will go to an illegal buyer and purchase marijuana from them, and that money will go to the drug dealer or a gang or just anywhere that the government doesn't want money going towards. So if the state were to legalize marijuana, people could just buy it from them and they'd get money for that. So Colorado has legalized marijuana, and in 2016, they collected $200 million in tax revenue from marijuana, which is a huge number. And I have this chart from Don't Mess with Taxes that just breaks down what Colorado uses that tax money for. So about half of that money went just directly towards K-12 education, which is really huge to me because I think in the United States, one thing that we're really trying to improve is our education system. So it's really not directly related to marijuana at all, but purely legalizing it has, in 1 year, they earned $100 million to try and further that. So that's kind of big to me. And that brings me to my last point, which is that teen pot use has actually decreased in Colorado since marijuana has been legalized. As you can see on this chart by the Washington Post, it's gone down from 12% to 9% from 2014 to 2016. And that's really big to me because a lot of people would probably think that if marijuana is legalized, that teens would be able to access it easier, and those rates would go up. But not only does that not occur, but the rates actually go down. So that kind of disproves the reason that marijuana should be kept illegal, because teens will get their hands on it more. Alright, so in conclusion, I talked about my 3 big reasons, which were that there's other legal drugs that are more harmful than marijuana, also that marijuana tax is very beneficial to states, and finally that teen use of marijuana has actually decreased in Colorado after it's been legalized. And so one point that I wanted to leave you guys with was that only 1 in 8 people say that they regularly smoke marijuana. And that's not a lot of people, so you would think that not a lot of people are directly affected by this, by legalizing marijuana. But as I mentioned in my speech, there's a lot of things that don't directly aren't directly affected by legalizing marijuana, and a lot of things can really benefit from this big change. Even though there's some small things that might occur that after legalization, the big idea is definitely really, really important. So that's my whole speech. And here's my audience again.
Sure.